This message is for the ladies who love ladies, who are married or in committed relationships with other women, and your sex life is not where you want it to be. You thought it would be a bit more spectacular, but it's not. If that's you, stay tuned to the end of this video. I have some great tips for you. The topic of this video is about lesbian women and their sex lives. The title is Lesbian Bed Death. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. Thank you for being here today and listening to my message. I am going to give a disclaimer. I am not a therapist. I am not a counselor. I am not a psychologist. I am a certified life coach. To briefly describe the difference, a counselor or a psychologist is licensed in the state that they practice in because they are government regulated to abide by certain statutes to counsel people, and they diagnose you with conditions based on your history. I am not in a position to diagnose anyone, whether it's for medical or a mental condition. What I do as a certified life coach is I specialize in a specific category that helps people to be able to process and navigate their life in a more efficient and productive manner. My specialty as a life coach is for the lesbian, gay, and LGBTQ community. And I have a motto where I say, I teach gay, lesbian, and LGBTQ people how to bridge the gap between their sexual identity and their spiritual identity. And to briefly explain what that motto means is there are many people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or queer or pansexual. And there are even trans people who are same-sex attracted people. They are non-heterosexual. And they often struggle with being a same-sex attracted person as well as being a person who is able to commit to a personal relationship with God. They're not able to intertwine their same-sex identity with their faith or spiritual beliefs. And many of this roots in discrimination towards same-sex attracted people or trans identifying people. And I specialize in those areas as well as dysfunctional family. Many of us who are same-sex attracted come from dysfunctional family upbringings, and that impacts our personal lives and how we deal with ourselves in our relationships with other people. So I provide guidance, instruction, and teaching, and I am not licensed by the state because life coaches do not require to be licensed by the state. So I hope that helps you better understand the difference between a counselor or a life coach. But I plan to provide more information about that in detail. You also can learn more about what I do through my website at www.GiselleAWallace.com. And as well as you can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and my name is at GiselleAWallace. Same as here on YouTube. And if you'd like to learn more about sexuality and spirituality as a same-sex attracted person, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Now, I want to discuss a topic that is usually hush hush, but it's an elephant in the room. It's obvious that many people who identify as lesbian, or if you are a same sex attracted woman, such as you're bisexual, pansexual, or queer, you fall under the same umbrella. We have relationships with women, and many of us are in committed relationships with women, but our sex lives are not where we want them to be. And we haven't quite connected the dots to understand why our sex lives seem to be not as fulfilling as we would like them to be. And I'm going to give you my perspective on why I believe that lesbian bed death exists. Because believe it or not, the concept lesbian bed death, it does exist for some women. And what it means generally is when you are a woman who is involved sexually with another woman, you do not actually engage in sexual relations with each other. You do not have an active sex life, or you do not have a fulfilling sex life, because sometimes you can have sex with your same sex partner but not be satisfied sexually. And this is a very difficult discussion to have with your partner. And I believe it's important to highlight some reasons why this may be occurring in your relationships with women. And I will say, for me, the reason why many women experience lesbian bed death, and this is based on my experience with interacting with women through coaching, as well as I have experienced lesbian bed death as well in a former relationship with a woman. And what I've noticed is that the root reason why lesbian bed death occurs is because many women who identify as lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, or queer still struggle with accepting their sexual orientation. And they bring that into the bedroom. If you have ever been mistreated because of your same sex attractions, then it causes you to question yourself. It may even cause you to have a poor self image of yourself as a woman who is attracted to women sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And if you ever heard that the biggest sex organ is the brain, that is accurate. So if in your mind you have negative thoughts about who you are as a same sex attracted woman, you better believe you're bringing it into the bedroom with your partner. So you are responsible for your sexual satisfaction, ladies. Your partner wants to please you sexually. She wants to be there for you sexually. However, you are not supposed to rely on her to satisfy you. Sexual satisfaction starts with how you feel about yourself, how you think about yourself. And secondly, communication has to occur between you and your partner. When it comes to relationships, you do want to be concerned about being open in your relationship about your feelings and your thoughts and your experiences. And a lot of times, those aren't always good and happy experiences or thoughts. However, they still need to be discussed so that your partner can know you. And once she knows you better, then she'll be able to fill those gaps that are empty. Now, filling the gaps doesn't mean fulfilling you or making you a whole person. All it means is she now has a better understanding of what's missing. She can understand you better, and she can actually work with you better in the bedroom. So, starting with inner work is very crucial to being able to have a healthy relationship and to have a satisfying sexual relationship with your same sex partner. It may require therapy, and it also may require life coaching. I coach women all the time. And if you are interested in life coaching, you can actually contact me through my website, or all of my information is here on YouTube in the description box, because everyone has their own unique situation, and I provide personal customized life coaching for you. When you experience bed death, lesbian bed death, you may say, well, my relationship is good in other areas. We both work, we are physically healthy, we go to church once or twice a week, we have family gatherings once a month. Our our home, we love our home. We picked our home together. We go shopping together. We cuddle every night. But we don't have sex. And you begin to settle and say, well, everything else is fine in my relationship. So maybe I should not make a big deal about the fact that I'm not having sex with my partner. But ladies, it is a big deal, because when you are in a marriage or a committed relationship with a woman, sex is very important. Now, where you prioritize sex is depending on the individual. However, it's extremely important, especially for people who identify as lesbian or same sex attracted, because in a heteronormative society, they try to make sure that we know that who we are is not acceptable. So we have to work even harder to ensure that our relationships, our romantic and sexual relationships with the same sex, is healthy and strong and fulfilling, because there's so many odds against us. You need to make sure that you are not cutting off the sexual side of you. And the way you do that is, it actually comes out in many ways. You may stop dressing in a way that is appealing to your partner. You may, for example, cover your body up. And I don't mean that you have to dress revealing or provocative, but there are clothes that you can wear that actually show your physique, but at the same time, you are classy. But if you start wearing clothes that really don't fit your personality, and you're dressing down a lot, you're wearing colors that don't actually appeal to your skin complexion or your energy, which is basically part of your personality, then that can actually kind of keep you at bay with your partner. You may also choose to not sleep in the bed together. You may say, I'm going to just hang out on the couch tonight and just watch a couple of my movies. You know, I know you don't like this movie, so I'm just going to go in the living room and watch it. And you end up making a habit of that. Now you're not making sure that you and your partner are intimate anymore, because you're choosing to sleep in separate rooms of the house. You also may think that because you're in a committed relationship, that you don't have to have a schedule to have sexual intimacy. But believe it or not, ladies, having a schedule, yes, a schedule where there are certain days in the week, certain times in the day where you can actually arrange to be intimate with one another. You can do that. And it's actually important. Like you schedule everything else in your life, why not schedule your sex life? And then you might say, well, that's not, you know, organic, or that seems to be very forced. But our lives can get very busy. And if you just think about it, if you're not having sex with your partner, what are you doing to replace that time? Whatever you're doing to replace that time, you're scheduling that time over being intimate with your partner. So that's why you need to schedule your sex life. And yes, there are going to be moments where you don't have to schedule your sex life. Like probably when you were dating and everything was fresh, no one had to tell you to schedule your sex life. You weren't experiencing lesbian bed death to the degree that you are now. If you were noticing something was off, more than likely it was off early on in the relationship, and I'm going to touch on that. But what I'm just referring to now is you were ready. You were ready to be with her. You was ready to have sex at the drop of a dime, and it was exciting. It was sensual. It was very satisfying, and now you're not doing that anymore. So you're going to have to take the time to make yourself conscious and aware of getting back to that place where having sex was second nature to you. Now, regarding early on in your relationship when you were dating, maybe there were red flags and you ignored them. For example, I've coached women and they would say things like, well, we always used to cuddle, but we didn't really have sex. We would just fall asleep and wake up and start our day. But I didn't think much about it. I thought maybe that's just what girls do. You heard that before? Well, some women, they think kind of like the way we've been programmed in society that women are not supposed to be sexual, that they're not supposed to be sexually active, that we have to be very reserved. And that actually has come from heteronormative standards where men are considered to be more sexually free and not necessarily promiscuous, but they're more confident in being themselves sexually, whereas women tend to be more reserved and they don't really know their bodies because they haven't explored that side of them because they're trying to be able to look like they're a good woman or a good girl. However, this actually limits your sexuality, and you don't want to bring that mindset, that hetero constructive mindset into your relationship with a woman, because you are a woman who loves women. So you need to be in tune with your body and your desires. And you need to be in tune with your partner's body and desires. And you need to know that it's good for you to be physically and sexually attracted to each other. And when your woman is attracted to you, it makes you feel good, and vice versa. So I encourage you to compliment each other. You don't always necessarily have to have sex, but one thing that works is for you to just look at each other. You can be in the bed, wherever you want to be, without any clothes on, and just touch each other, look at each other, compliment each other, kiss each other. This is intimacy, and it leads to lovemaking. So if you are stuck, there's hope, ladies. You can get unstuck. Lesbian bed death has a lot to do with all of the negative thoughts that are swirling around in your mind, and you are not 100% responsible for that. Unfortunately, people in your family probably were against you being a lesbian or bisexual or same sex attracted person. And this has been a burden for you. And now it's affecting your relationships with women. So you're going to have to retrain your thinking, and you're going to have to tap into what you want and desire in your relationship, because sex is very important. We are same sex attracted people. We are same gender loving people. And you deserve to be loved in every sense of the word, emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, and spiritually. When you have the beautiful opportunity to be in a relationship with another woman, that is your time to enjoy your relationship. Your relationship is unique. Same sex attraction is beautiful, and you are supposed to fully express yourself. Your partner wants you, and you want your partner. And as long as you keep everything and anyone out of your relationship that's causing you to withdraw yourself, and for you not to be intimate with your partner emotionally, mentally, sexually, and spiritually, then you need to readjust and focus on your love life ASAP. I am an author, and this is my book here, Lesbian Erasure, How to Cope, Black Lesbian Edition. As a matter of fact, there you go. I encourage you to order my book because it touches on a lot of dynamics that I've discussed in this video, but it goes even further than that. We experience lesbian erasure, which means, in a nutshell, that we are not acknowledged as women who love women. And it in fact impacts us personally and relationally. So I provide some guidance on how to cope in this life as a lesbian woman. You can order my book on Amazon, as well as Apple iBooks and Barnes and Nobles and many other outlets. Please do that for yourself, do that for your partner, and it'll be worth it, just like your relationship is worth it. I hope that you enjoyed this message and that it benefits you. If so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, share, and comment below here on YouTube. I'd love to engage with you. And thank you for listening. You have a wonderful day. My name is Giselle Wallace.